Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pearl, and today I want us to talk about an issue that was the subject of a very hot debate as at last week. This concerns the loan agreement between Nigeria and China and whether or not a clause in that agreement means that Nigeria conceded her sovereignty to China. And it's just something that I feel like every African youth and every Nigerian should be talking about. And I just wanted us to discuss that here. So I'm just going to give a bit of background as to this loan agreement. This agreement was taken out back in September of 2018. And it's for $500 million at an interest rate of 2.5% per annum and a maturity date of 2030. So the loan agreement was taken out on behalf of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by the Ministry of Finance, and it was taken for some projects that are being executed by the Ministry of Transportation. So these are railway projects, and there was, apart from the clause that was found out to be in the agreement, there were certain other issues that compelled the National Assembly to set up a committee to investigate this loan agreement. And I watched the hearing of that committee, and there were just a couple of things that came up that were very disturbing, to be honest. And I just wanted to talk about that here. So I'm going to read the clause first. And then after I've read the clause, I want to talk about the investigation and what came up during the hearing. And then I'm just going to talk about solutions for this debt crisis in Africa. And then we will decipher the clause and we will find out if it actually means that Nigeria conceded sovereignty to China. Okay, so here is the clause. It says, the borrower, that is Nigeria, hereby irrevocably waives any immunity on the grounds of sovereign or otherwise for itself and its property in connection with any arbitration proceeding pursuant to Article 8, subsection 5, thereof with the enforcement of any arbitral award pursuant thereto, except for the military assets and diplomatic assets. So it's quite a long clause, but we're going to break it down and get to that later on. So the investigation, the committee is chaired by Honorable Minister Osai, I believe, and the Minister of Transportation was there. He was invited, and he had to answer certain questions. And that hearing is on YouTube, and I would encourage everyone to watch it so that they can give an informed opinion as to what is going on. There were two main issues that came up. The first one being that this loan agreement was not submitted to the House of Representatives for their consideration and for them to give the authorization for the Ministry of Finance to execute this agreement. Another issue was the fact that I believe one of the ministries involved in this loan agreement, the Debt Management Office, had actually kind of acted ultra vires their Establishment Act by entering into this agreement without passing this loan agreement to the National Assembly. That's the House of Representatives of the National Assembly. And I just think that this is indicative of one of the main issues that we have in Africa as a whole, which is the lack of regard for the rule of law. You know, like if the Debt Management Establishment Act says that this is how loan agreements should be entered into, first submitted to the National Assembly before you can execute this agreement, then it is important to go through that process. And if those things are not done, it doesn't help the country to grow. It doesn't help to build the confidence of foreign investors. So it's very imperative and very important that we begin to uphold our rule of law. The laws are there in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. Most of our laws are adopted from the UK, at least for Nigeria, most of our laws are adopted from the UK. So we have laws that cover a wide range of issues. The problem is, do we uphold these laws? Is the government implementing these laws properly? And those are the major questions that come to mind when things like this happen. And I believe that that is one of the main issues why we are in this situation right now, wondering whether or not this clause means something or it doesn't mean something, you know. Okay, so the Minister of Transportation did say that he submitted the agreement to the Senate, which is one of the cabinets of the National Assembly. But that was not fully what the law says. The law says you should submit it to the National Assembly as a two cabinet systems, being the Senate and the House of Representatives. Another thing he said, which was really the problematic one for me, was that if Nigeria keeps on investigating this matter, then China will stop giving us loans. I don't know how you guys feel about that excuse, and I'm not the one saying it. You people should go and watch the hearing. It's televised, it's on YouTube, so there's no excuse to not watch it. And yeah, so that was what he said, and it's just really mind-boggling, because you have to ask yourself, is it more important for a country to receive loans than it is for her to be in control of her own affairs? You know, it's just not the kind of reason to just sign off on any loan. I believe one of the things that I found out about when I read about this issue was that the loan agreement was actually written in Mandarin, and they had not had it translated before they signed off on this agreement, which is just like, you know, if that is the case, then that's not good. That is not good. Of course, you wouldn't catch a clause like that, and you wouldn't be able to properly negotiate the terms of that agreement if you're just signing off on it. So those were the two main issues that came up, and I don't want to like just keep on talking about the challenges and the problems that we face. I really want to always talk about solutions to Africa's challenges. I really want that to be the major point of my videos or my articles, because I do write articles about Africa's, you know, problems and the solutions to these challenges on my blog, Africa in Development. And I really just try to be like very solution based. I don't like talking about the issues, because we all know what the issues are. What we need now are the solutions. Like, what are we doing to change the problem? It's just important for us to begin to think about the solutions and to begin to think about the actions and what we need to be doing, what we need to achieve. Those things are very important, and not to just keep on hammering on the problems. Yeah, so now I'm going to talk about the solutions. For me, I feel as though Nigeria should stop taking loans. I think it's very clear that Nigerians should stop taking loans. I'm going to insert a graph here now just to show you guys how Nigeria's national debt has been on the steady increase for the past 5 years. And it's just a problem if this continues, considering the fact that Nigeria does not have a very strong, strong currency. Because countries that have national debt, developed countries that have national debt tend to have very strong currency. If you look at the US, their currency is the reserve currency. So if they have national debt, they're not going to be too bothered about it. But for Nigeria, where the political and the social climate is volatile and the currency isn't very strong, it's not a very good idea to keep on building debt. So yeah, that's the one thing that I would say Nigeria really needs to do to stop taking loans. And this leads to my second recommendation, which is that Nigeria really needs to go back and re-strategize. We've been taking loans for a very long time. The question now is, what have we been doing with those loans? Like, have we put those loans into stimulating the economy? Have we put those loans into empowering the people? Because Africa's greatest resource is her people. And right now there is a mass exodus going on. People are leaving because the economy and the climate is not really helping the growth and the development of people and their businesses right now. So that is one thing that Africa really needs to go back and look at, and Nigeria being the case study here. I'm just thinking, like, all the loans you've been taking. Also, let's not forget funds that have been repatriated back to the country, stolen funds that have been sent back to the country in the past few years. Where has that money been going to? What have you been putting that money into? It's important to have a proper accountability and transparency for you to know where your country is going and how you would actually pay off all of these loans. Okay, so those are my little suggestions on how we can begin to handle this debt crisis. I'm going to now talk about this clause, which has caused so much contention. And it says, the borrower, that is Nigeria, hereby irrevocably waives any immunity on the grounds of sovereign or otherwise for itself and its property in connection with any arbitration proceeding pursuant to Article 8, subsection 5. I'm just going to stop there and break that down. So when it talks about Nigeria waiving its immunity, countries actually have immunity in the sense that they cannot be subjected to the laws of a different state when they have disputes with with that state. So what that means is Nigeria as a country has waived her immunity when it comes to arbitration proceedings. So I'm guessing that there was probably a clause in this agreement that said any disputes that arise between the parties will be resolved by arbitration. So when it talks about waiving their immunity as regards their property, it also means that Nigeria cannot, Nigeria's assets is not also protected from seizure by the Chinese government if they default on this loan. And that just means that China can seize the assets of the Nigerian government if they default on this loan, because they have waived the immunity that grants the protection of their assets. So that is what this clause means. So it basically applies when, if, let me not say when, sorry, if Nigeria defaults on this loan, then this clause will apply. So it doesn't mean that Nigeria has conceded sovereignty to China and now the whole country belongs to China. But it does mean that Nigeria can be subjected to whatever law that has been decided upon by the parties if they have decided upon it. And Nigeria's assets are also not going to be protected if they default on this loan. That is what this clause means. So for us not to have an issue, or for this clause to pretty much just live and die, Nigeria has to repay this loan by 2030. Yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope that this would help you guys to begin to look at Nigeria's governance issues and pretty much the whole political scene in every African country, because we're all one, and it's very important that the youth begin to speak up about these issues. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.